Hey, what's up, guys? Sean back, and today we're talking about the dark secrets of America's most obese town, which is a video by Yes Theory that a couple of you have sent me and wanted me to check out. And if you wanted my guess, I'm guessing it's friggin' Texas. There's a reason Dr. Now set up his office there because he's got a honey hole of the hefties. So he knew what he was doing when he set it up there. Because Bucky's Beaver Balls and Whataburger, the size of your friggin' head, like he knew what he was doing setting up shop in Texas. Don't play with Dr. Now. The man's a genius when it comes to business. He knows how to find the biggins and set up the bariatric clinic, okay? So let's check out the dark secrets, but probably preservatives, fast food, that's my guess.
You want to grow bigger and stronger, don't you?
Golly, sure.
The number of obese Americans is now around 40%.
Fast forward 10 years and the rates skyrocket.
It's so bad, some call it an epidemic.
What about pancakes for dinner?
Almost 7 grams of fat.
Americans are getting increasingly and astronomically chronically ill, and it is largely
Hey, when they made lean pockets, they swore that those were healthy, right? Just like Lunchables are healthy. You can't gain weight eating that.
because of our toxic, ultra-processed food system.
It's the craziest scam to ever get pulled off.
Big Tobacco bought into U.S. food companies back in the 80s.
Why is the FDA funded by the pharmaceutical industry?
Former drug regulators who went to work for the drug industry.
This is why America.
Wait, the FDA really funds the what? It's funded by the pharmaceutical industry? That makes no sense at all. I didn't even know that. They're trying to make us fat, so we're all sick.
America is facing an obesity epidemic. That's not about willpower. It's about the food system.
Okay.
Max, how is food healing us or killing us?
Yeah, food could either be the safest form of medicine or the slowest form of poison.
It's strange to think that at one point in time, one of the leading causes of death in America was the lack of food and malnutrition during the Great Depression.
Isn't it crazy that it went from the lack of food to the surplus of peanut butter cups like that?
Forward to today, however, and 42% of American adults are classified as obese. Food-related illnesses have become the #1 health issue in America, and health experts believe it will soon overtake cigarettes as the leading cause of preventable death. The abundance and availability of fast and easy food that may have once been a dream has turned into the American nightmare. For a long time, the obesity epidemic was chalked up to an individual's lack of self-care, diet planning, and exercise, leading to the rise of reality programs meant to empower overweight people to simply clean up their diets and get into the gym. While these
Is my 600-pound life meant to empower people? I'm not sure about that. I think it's meant to get full frontal fupa cam, but it's also meant for them to lose weight. But empowerment, that's not what I took away from it most of the time. Like, they're trying to get them right, but there's a large embarrassment factor.
These are well-meaning notions. We believe that there may be something deeper at play that is causing this epidemic. Why is it that obesity in America skyrocketed specifically in the last 20 years? And
blame Joe Biden. Thanks, Obama.
Why are there some geographic locations that experience it worse than others? To find the answers to these questions, our search led us here, to McAllen, a border city in southern Texas that has become an unexpected face of the issue when in 2011, a study labeled it as America's most obese city.
Oh, yeah, you're right next to Taco Town, and you're in friggin' Texas. You're double screwed, buddy. That's the perfect place to go if you're fat. You just moved to McAllen.
Here at Yes Theory, we always believe it's important to break through the stats and speak to people on the ground to get truer understanding of the circumstances they're living in. That's why Amar and Stefan will be traveling to McAllen to spend the next few days exploring the city, trying to uncover what is really causing this spike in obesity.
It's also half messed up that they just camped out the hostess aisle at the grocery store trying to pick up fat people because they knew where to pick them out. They set up shop right in their targets, walking down the donut aisle.
Also sat down to interview multiple health experts who helped provide in-depth analysis to everything they're about to uncover in the city with this mysterious affliction.
It's not mysterious, it's McDonald's.
And we are officially in McAllen, Texas. Okay, off we go. Thank you.
All right.
Making a documentary around obesity and food systems in the US.
You're too skinny. Please board the plane again. You are not allowed in McAllen.
Okay.
Are you getting the connection?
Yes,
Why?
absolutely, because I am from here. So yeah, I think the like low income area probably has a lot to do with it because there's a lot of choices, but they're really cheap and really unhealthy. So I get that.
I don't like the argument that like low income kind of makes love handles a thing, but I understand people like to say that processed cheap food, but fresh food, I would argue probably it's comparable. It's not that different to me.
The average adult in the United States, their calories are derived from ultra-processed foods by about 60%, which means that most of the calories that your average adult is consuming are coming from these essentially shelf-stable, packaged processed foods, the kind of foods that you'd find in a vending machine.
Yeah. This is Max Lugavere. He is a health and wellness author, researcher, and host of the Genius Life podcast, which focuses on exposing corruption and disinformation in health and food. He originally gained recognition for his book Genius Foods, which combines scientific research with practical advice on how to improve your health through diet and lifestyle. We originally met him back in 2020 when we made an episode learning more about the vegan diet.
We are now seeing that the overconsumption of these foods is linked with innumerable chronic diseases. The usual suspects, heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, even Alzheimer's disease and dementia, whether it's
All right, but I also don't think that necessarily eating a sawmill like wood shaving burger is good for you either. I don't know what they flavor that stuff with, but it strangely tastes like meat. I know that can't be friggin' good either.
it's our regulatory bodies or even the food industry. Nobody's really being all that honest about the impact that these foods are having. Part of that has to do with the fact that they are so incredibly profitable. They are the darlings of the food industry.
Thanks, man. Okay, we're gonna explore a food park here in McAllen. Hopefully connect with some locals. Are you guys from?
It's definitely profitable. There's a reason that the guy the Twinkie King or whatever, bought the Playboy Mansion for $100 million. Why does the Twinkie guy got billions of dollars? Americans, we're fat as shit. We're eating too many Twinkies.
McAllen or?
Yeah. Are you
Cool.
guys from yesterday?
Yeah, we're from yesterday.
Shut up.
We kind
There's
of.
no way.
So we're here to tell a story about unhealthy systems that's making us sick.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And this is the most obese city, right?
It is.
Oh my god, no way.
What's
The
your
portions
supermarket?
down here I feel like are way bigger than in
They
the
are.
markets.
Here there's so much fast food.
Everyone that comes to America are like, what the hell are you guys doing? They're always blown away by our friggin' portions. Like I said, what a burger. The burger's the size of your friggin' head. That makes no sense to anybody that's rational from somewhere else.
Kind of the problem.
What do you think made the difference in your upbringing?
I didn't grow up here.
You didn't grow up here. Where did you grow up?
Mexico.
Okay, I see.
I was also raised in Mexico, and it's an issue when you come here. Like
Yeah.
the food, it's a big issue for everyone.
Yeah, it's scary.
Mexicans are fat too. There's a reason we want Mexican Coca-Cola. They put real sugar in it. It ain't got no red 40 that's turning our balls into like bouncy balls. Which that's a problem too. All the preservatives, additives, like men are literally losing testosterone from friggin' Twinkies and all the dyes and stuff. And Gatorade Code Red makes it just gets rid of your red rocket. Like it's killing us.
Lifestyle wise, I feel like over there you have a lot more people that walk places.
Yeah.
Here everything's. That's why I mentioned the drive-throughs. Everyone
We
goes.
came walking actually. I told him.
Yeah, we came
Let's walk.
walking.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids and I teach them every day about healthy food and all of that.
Nice.
So it starts at home. I think that.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of drive-throughs there are here compared to some other cities.
The drive-throughs.
Oh.
I see.
Smart lady saying it starts at home. I mean, it honestly kind of probably starts in the womb. Stop giving them Waffle House right off the bat. We're like popping out sugar addicts left and right in the U.S. probably.
Literally within the 2 blocks that we're in, I counted last night, there's 6 fast food restaurants. I'm not even trying to villainize like fast food. People eat fast food in other places in the world and it's okay, but when it's the main thing that people are consuming every day because economically you've now locked them in a very specific spot where they can't afford to get groceries, their work schedule doesn't allow them to cook. I remember when I was a pizza delivery driver in college, like my dinner every day was McDonald's. At the time I was spending $6.50 on my dinner. It was amazing because I was saving money that summer. But ultimately it's like you're eating the lowest grade food that you could possibly have without it being illegal.
Yeah, when I was in high school, every time I'd get like a lunch break from work, I would just zoom over to McDonald's, get 5 double cheeseburgers. Yes, I would eat five. I was like in mid 400s range, okay? That would be my meal. It would cost me 5.25. So it used to be cheaper, but I feel like fast food's just as expensive as going and buying like fresh veggies anymore, right?
Another common misconception about people who are struggling with their weight is they should simply eat healthier. While this is obviously correct, it isn't always simple. In the US, there are approximately 6 fast food restaurants per 10,000 people. This is more than double most European countries. Not only are they much more accessible than healthier alternatives, they're also much cheaper. And in McAllen, which has a poverty rate of around 21%, which is around double the national average, being able to spend more money on a healthier alternative or taking the time out to prepare a healthier home-cooked meal isn't a simple choice. It's a privilege that many can't afford.
But I also think in like California now, even getting a Big Mac meal is like 20 bucks. I don't know where he found that menu where it said like $5. That looked like it was from the friggin' 90s, probably.
Kids eat free. That is so sick. I'm thinking about how manipulative this is. You're a dad or you're a mom, you don't have that much to support your family. Of course you're gonna fucking come here because you can have, a member of your family eat for free. It's like, this is so fucking evil that you're using people's circumstances to just grab a family and have them come spend money here.
I get genuinely sad about it, now, because now I start to speak, that we couldn't afford eating out when we were young. But if we did sometimes, it was maybe to a fast food chain or so, because that's the cheapest. So yeah. I'm like, thankfully good luck, it didn't ruin my life, but it's ruined other people's life.
Yeah, mine was always like Golden Corral, buffet type stuff, but I feel like it's marketing. IHOP is not any more evil than anywhere else that is trying to get your kids to come in because they're throwing toys in it or whatever. At least the kids are eating for free. I don't think they're worse than any other restaurant just because they're saying kids eat free, right?
And it's not okay.
It's unfair to just point at the people and be like, why are you not doing this? Why are you letting these bad habits control your life?
We're lazy, damn it.
But it's not just their personal choice in the matter. You have to also look at the infrastructure, the lack of access to these like healthier food options. We're also not doing our part in educating people as to what even an unhealthy diet looks like.
Meet our friend and Yes Theory subscriber, Surya. She works
I feel like she was just saying a lot of smart words to let you know that like the angle of your fupa is going to get bigger if you eat McDonald's. But she was going in.
At a medical clinic here in McAllen and is training to become a doctor. As a resident of the most obese city in America, Surya has developed a passion for helping her fellow residents to better understand and manage their diet and wellness.
If I just say, oh, you need to eat healthier, they don't know what that looks like. They just know what they've been growing up eating. Nutrition is basically not in our curriculum at all. Like maybe we get 1 to 2 hours throughout our entire 4 years of medical education. And
1 to 2 hours?
Yes.
I learned.
Yeah, in high school, we had health class, whatever. They weren't talking about your diet and food. They were talking about the birds and the bees and the meat missile and don't choke on that thing. You might die. It's extra calories. They were talking about all kinds of stuff like that, but not so much about food. I was like really food stupid until just recently.
Learned virtually nothing at Stanford Medical School about the tens of thousands of scientific papers that elucidate these root causes of why American health is plummeting and how environmental factors are causing it. I took 0 nutrition courses in medical school. What we are dealing with here is so much more than a physical health crisis. This is a spiritual crisis.
I'm not possessed by a quarter pounder just because I'm fat. What's the spiritual? Like, I don't know if we have to bring in the Wiccans to teach us something about Whoppers, but I can show you what 30 years of McDonald's looks like. Check it out right here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's 30 years of McDonald's right there, buddy.
How is this $21?
Highway robbery. That's how. How is that? Yeah, McAllen's really screwing you over. They really want you to be indebted to the FDA, huh? Not the FDA, Big Pharma. That's who.
This used to be my heaven back in the day.
Yeah, man. Brownies and muffins.
Brownies and muffins. That's my world.
73% of the items in your average supermarket are ultra-processed foods. The kinds of products that are now being linked to conditions like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and dementia.
Do you have children?
Yep. Betty Crocker showed me how to bake a cake too. I know.
Yes, I do.
how have you raised them differently, knowing that they're growing up in a town that is done most unhealthy?
I try to cook more at home. That's basically it. Definitely the convenience of the fast food. Drive-through.
It's a big role to be a mother, so thank you for raising the next generation.
So I'm trying.
I think what's driving me crazy, and I'm noticing that now, the amount of bullshit on labels is unbelievable. You're just...
Bro, please don't show them the American labels. They already think we're dumb enough for eating like toxic Ghana, whatever, you know, eating all this crazy stuff. We're literally eating like Joker or jizz in all of our friggin' foods. Like, it's ridiculous.
Bombarded. You just have something. It's the shape of a heart. Lower cholesterol. 28 grams of grain per serving. You don't even know what that means. Reduces heart disease. What the are you talking about?
It means if you eat just Cheerios for the rest of your life, you'll live forever.
I'll end with a question. If your grocery store has
Corn
a health
dogs are
food
healthy?
section, what does that make the rest of the store? Thank you.
Not
People
a bad
are
question.
being actively misled.
Yeah.
I don't even like to use the term, but it seems like they're, you know, at times it's almost like a disinformation campaign. All of the healthiest items in the supermarket actually don't make health claims.
Yeah.
Like, you won't find health claims on a piece of grass-fed, grass-finished beef. You won't find health claims on a dozen eggs. You won't find health claims on a bush of kale. All of the health...
Yeah, that's true. I don't think I've ever walked up to asparagus and it says, "We'll shrink your ass," or anything like that.
Health claims that you'll find in the supermarket, the front of package labeling, you know, are all adorning ultra-processed foods. The healthiest foods in the supermarket don't need to make health claims.
We are ranting about the cereals here. They are saying that they are healthy and good, but I don't know if we trust them. Do you?
Maybe we should start putting those claims. Like, if they really put Brussels sprouts out and says gives you a bigger, like, guys would friggin' rush there in a friggin' heartbeat. You'd have a shortage of friggin' Brussels sprouts everywhere.
Honest opinion when it comes to cereal. You put a little heart on it, people just assume it's healthy. And that's not really the case. Because the moment you put some sugar on it or anything frosted, anything, it's not healthy. It doesn't matter if you get like regular Cheerios or anything like that, they're still putting like all that sugar into your body.
Do you find it harder to make healthier food choices in a place where the options are very limited?
I think that's just a nationwide problem because all the healthy options are restricted by a price tag. Let's say you live paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, to all you other people. In my early videos, people used to be like, "What are cosmic brownies? What are cosmic brownies?" There are those little trashy things up there with like jacked up poor man's M&Ms on them. Like, this is the aisle that will make you die real quick. I think I lived on this, like, just this stuff for a whole week once.
Getting stuff that are just like healthier, it's not feasible sometimes.
From the food perspective, addiction is the business model. If we can get more people to jam more fake industrial food, they eat themselves to death and then end up in a hospital. It's a revolving door of profit that we are born into.
Dr. Casey Means is a physician, entrepreneur, and health optimization expert. After graduating from Stanford, she worked for years as a surgeon before shifting her focus to preventive and functional medicine. Since then, she has become somewhat of a whistleblower against the American medical system, believing that there is much more advocacy needed for addressing lifestyle and diet issues. We got inspired through her eye-opening book, Good Energy, which presents a case for a metabolic-focused approach to health, and luckily got the chance to sit down with her to dig deeper into the American healthcare system.
She gotta teach me how to open my chakras by cutting out sugar or something. But yeah, entrepreneur. There's a lot of people out here trying to teach people how to eat healthy. Not a lot of people that want to listen to it, right?
We live in what is ostensibly like the most prosperous and one of the safest times in human history, and we are very depressed. Our life expectancy is going down. So then you have to say, what is different in the last 50 to 100 years that could be making our cells not work properly? The largest industry in the entire country, therefore the largest industry in the entire world, because America is the richest country in the world, is healthcare. Healthcare has a business model focused on getting more patients through the system as quickly as possible.
I think
It sounds so bad when you say it like that. Like, yes, healthcare can do some amazing things. It also can screw you over. You take the bad advice, get one bad doctor, you know, you're in a world of hurt. Like, they could put you on a medication you don't necessarily need. Then you could be on that medication the rest of your friggin' life. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, they're definitely designed to keep you in there and to keep you dependent on medications, doctors, stuff like that.
An Egyptian, and he's Swedish. We know that America is the biggest exporter of culture in the world.
Yep.
And what we see in the movies with how people eat and drink is literally how other places around the world strive to eat and drink. It's like, yes, it affects America, but ultimately all of this eventually gets exported to the rest of the world.
When America coughs, the whole world gets sick.
Yeah, when America coughs, we squeeze and cough, right? Okay. So don't blame us necessarily for you guys loving burgers now too, but yes, Americans, maybe Hollywood might be more to blame for the hamburger crisis.
True Fit seems like one of the biggest gyms here. Let me just take a look inside. I'll ask him for They had like the first thing that you saw on the screen in there is want a custom meal plan, which was very interesting because it makes sense. As soon as you walk out of here and you just look anywhere around, a meal anywhere around here would ruin a full gym session that you had.
One of the first pillars of maintaining a healthy lifestyle is obviously exercise, and more specifically incorporating exercise into your daily routine. However, this can be easier said than done. Take a city such as Paris, for example. Here, walking to work or to meet friends is the norm, largely because of the city's design, and oftentimes is actually more inconvenient to drive to your destination. Compare that.
Americans no walk, we have wheels. What do you think we are, friggin' cavemen? Also, it's like a significant more amount of distance for most people to get to work here, I feel like, than it would be somewhere in like France. But there's a reason you guys are way healthier than us. I'll give you that.
That to McAllen and many rural cities throughout the United States, which have been ridiculed for their lack of urban design and walker-friendly city planning.
Like climate-wise, it's very hot down here. This is the coolest it's been the entire year.
It's 90 degrees.
Yes.
We're sweating.
Yes.
We're like, can we even be out today?
No, during summers, you can't bear to walk outside. So if people are wanting to incorporate exercise that is free, it's super, super hard. Pointing the fingers like, why aren't you exercising? Well, it's harder to get out there.
Okay, come to friggin' Maryland, put on a 600-pound backpack, and walk around and see how humid it is. I was dying almost every day I went outside.
One of the final stops of this trip was to meet someone who almost lost her life to obesity, Alejandra. She had reached out through the Yes Fam when she heard about us filming this story with hope of sharing some insight from her personal experience into how the American health system not only didn't help her, but actively made her circumstances worse.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet
I'm really confused by this lady saying like obesity or her whatever diet caused her to get there. She's skinny. She don't even, I don't know what she would have done to get there.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for taking the time.
My dog's name is Jovi, after Bon Jovi.
Oh,
His
cool.
full name is Jovi Tyler, after Bon Jovi and Steven Tyler.
I see. Yeah, we texted like this morning and you've been on a journey and are on a journey.
I'm appreciative of you taking the time to even talk to me.
Puppy.
I think it was when I was about 6 or 7 that I moved here to the US, because like when we lived in Mexico, my mom and my grandma were the ones taking care of my diet. So everything was homemade. I never got any processed foods growing up. They were very strict with it. But once we started school here, we started having lunch at school. And at first, I wouldn't want to eat it because I wasn't used to it, because it was pizza, chicken nuggets, burgers, things that I didn't like because I wasn't used to them.
And then you went into a trance for the tater tots. America got you. Like, I feel like we're almost just driving people to psychosis when it comes to gaining pounds at this point, the way they're putting it.
My mom got called into the school and got told that we needed to eat our lunch.
Free lunches at school are fairly common around the world. However, in Japan, for example, school lunches are highly structured and focused on balanced, freshly prepared meals. Compare that to the US, where the average cafeteria is often serving highly processed, calorie-dense meals like pizza, chicken nuggets, and fries. There are a number of reasons why this has been allowed to happen, including cost constraints, poor federal guidelines, but perhaps the worst impact comes from food lobby influence.
They also don't tell you about like the dozen vending machines we have in our high school, or the fact that you could go back up and get like a soft pretzel with cheese dip, a cookie. We really do have kind of a problem in the school system with the lunches, don't we?
Industry spends millions on lobbying and campaign contributions to influence lawmakers for their inclusion in school cafeterias. This was no clearer than in 2011, when Congress allowed a mere 2 tablespoons of tomato paste on pizza to count as a vegetable serving. This decision was heavily lobbied by the frozen pizza industry, which fought against stricter nutritional guidelines.
Hey, you know what? Little Caesars is a friggin' vegetable. Who would have knew?
A lot of these tobacco companies ended up buying up these ultra processed food companies.
Wow.
And there is data that suggests all the same criteria that tobacco products do. Ultra processed foods tick off all of those same boxes. This is why the advice that an overweight or obese person will often hear to just eat less and move more is really actually quite condescending and even insulting, because it's really hard to eat less of these foods. They're addictive by design. You know, these companies want to create repeat customers.
What happened?
They're also a lot less filling. It's not like that's why I think Dr. Now preaches the high protein diet, because you could stay full longer. I think that's probably why it's the best diet to try, especially if you're a person that's just hungry and grazes around and eats all day.
When you were exposed for these kind of foods then?
I gained weight so fast. From first grade to fifth grade, I ballooned up in weight. By the age of 28, I was, I believe, 270 pounds. My organs were starting to malfunction, and that they gave me about 5 good years. And then after that, they wouldn't know how things would go for me.
When you think about from the entrepreneurial perspective, it's like, what is every business trying to do is create a high LTV customer.
Yeah.
Lifetime value. What creates the highest LTV in Western medicine? Childhood chronic illness, starting as early as possible. If a child gets on the spectrum of connected metabolic diseases at age 2, which many are now, you have them for life.
What do you think?
That might be the most sickening thing I've heard this whole friggin' video. I thought it was already bad when they said Big Pharma was in bed with the FDA, or that, I don't know, Marlboro owns McDonald's or something like that. Like, that was sickening enough. But just hearing her put it that way, where it's like we're trying to find lifetime value or whatever, where we got kids sick and then they just have to be on medications forever, that's probably the grossest thing in this whole entire video.
I think is the most misunderstood thing about obesity.
That we do it to ourselves. We also have to understand,
point,
like, the community that I live in is a high poverty community. When it's the end of the month that they're running out of cash, every fast food restaurant, any wing place, any taco place, anything will have wings for 25 cents on Wednesdays, tacos for 50 cents on Tuesdays. If you're stretched for cash, you go, because what other option do you have?
If there's bad...
I'm also going to disagree with our accountability queen over here. Yeah, we did do it to ourselves. Is the food addictive? Is it tasty? Is it whatever? Yes, but at some point, I'm not going to sit here and blame that the food... Yeah, that's right, guys. I was hooked on chicken nuggies. That's what the friggin' problem was. Don't blame me. I didn't do anything. It was all the food's fault. No, I ate the food, right?
Policy that's making lower to middle income people feel so strapped for money that they literally can't even think about a decision a week from now. They have to think about feeding their kids today. How is this the world we're living in right now? We could fix this.
Through your story, it's evident that it's the system in this country. Like, we're literally less than 20-30 miles from being in, you know, Mexican land, but just across, there's a system that allows for this to happen, that allows for a school to be putting that much unhealthy food for kids, to just condition their bodies to grow up and crave that food even more.
All right, I just watched some video earlier about how Mexico is like have sponsors like Coca-Cola in the school, and everybody's just drinking Coke nonstop. So don't act like Mexico's got it way better. I know they have problems too. Everybody's living just this life of abundance, and we're eating everything. So it's like a global thing. It might be a lot less like intense in other parts of the world, but it's not just us by any means. But we are fat. We are eating a lot of fast food. That's for sure.
Can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
You're so inspiring, and I like feel the lioness and warrior inside of you. Yeah, it's
a Thank you.
Okay.
There's the lioness right there. You shouldn't have messed with Mufasa's mama.
It's like a production line. You take them as kids in school, and you just put them on all this terrible food. It's like if you opened kiosks in cities where you get people to try drugs, and you're not and you don't expect the population to just like start dealing with addiction problems. I think it's the same thing. If you have this food in school and you're getting all these kids to be trying that food, what do you think they're gonna grow up wanting to eat more of?
When we first had the idea to investigate McAllen, we went with the thought that there was something unique about this town. But after speaking to the residents and dissecting the issue with experts, we slowly grew more aware that this isn't a McAllen problem. It's an American problem, one that has seeped into every city across the country. But
It's just funny that like Texas gets the brunt of it for some reason. I don't know if it's maybe like all the just like the cultural mixing pot that it is, that there's so much good food in Texas because all these different cultures or whatever. But like I said at the start of this, there's a reason Dr. Now set up shop in Texas, and it's because everybody's tummy is like 3 times the size, so he's gonna cut it out of there.
what we also learned from this experience is that for those out there struggling with weight issues, there is hope.
You're not the only one going through it. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of us going through it. Even if the road to get there is rough, it's worth it. Like, I'm still fighting my fight. I'm still not okay. I'm still working to be healthy again. But I am so much better than I was 3 years ago. I can walk. I can eat. I can enjoy things that I couldn't enjoy before.
By learning,
we can bond over bellies, people. Let's just do it. I mean, there's a lot of fat people out here. There's also a lot of skinny people that had the same choices and had the same options to eat all the junk food and just didn't do it, right?
About the systems that are in place and educating ourselves on how we can improve our diet and well-being, we can break the unhealthy cycle that we seem to be stuck in and take back control of our quality of living.
To me, as long as you're eating primarily whole foods, I think you're going to be way ahead of the game. Definitely way ahead of average today. So whole foods don't have extensive ingredients lists. They are the ingredients.
For those who are interested, we've provided some links in the description to cheap, healthy meals that you can make at home, along with some links to exercises that you can do at home that don't require any equipment. But obviously, these are band-aid solutions. The true solutions will be going after the companies and representatives that have exploited and profited off of this system. The food
I got news for you. The FDA and Big Pharma, I mean, we could friggin' riot in the streets because there's too many Reese cups at the gas station. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. People are still going to buy the friggin' Reese cups, right? Like, yeah, protest off the pounds. Like, I get it, okay? Like, you probably could make some kind of difference. I don't think they're changing the secret recipe for us tomorrow, though.
Food and beverage companies, the pharmaceutical companies, and the insurance companies that have made trillions off of the desperation of normal people.
There was a study that I read that was about how to get teenagers to stop eating junk food. And they put vending machines in a high school, and then they tried to do different campaigns to see how they could get kids to not eat what was in the vending machine. And the only thing that worked for teenage boys.
Oh, God. Are you going to put, like, Playmates in the friggin'... Like, I could tell you how to get teenage boys to want to lose friggin' weight. I know how that works.
Was essentially a campaign letting them know that they were basically being used as tools by the food companies for profit. Wow. And like their strength and masculinity was essentially going to be zapped by the food in that, and that like they were being used. I mean, you could teach people all day about the health effects of the food and it's going to cause obesity, and it didn't matter. Yeah. You are being used.
Actually, yeah. If you tell a bunch of teenage boys to rage against the Twinkies, like, they're gonna do it.
By a machine that wants to take advantage of you. That was the thing. And I'm like, that is what it is for me too. And I think it is for a lot of people. This awakening of like, me and my children are profit centers. Yes. You know, we have 360 million people in the United States, and fundamentally they are the source of power, the people, not the media, not the government. It's people. And people, I think, really want to be healthy.
You know, it's only because of the people who have chosen to vote with their dollars that we can now get organic food, for example, at Walmart, or you know, why you can get grass-fed, grass-finished beef or wild salmon at Costco. The industry bends towards where it sees demand.
But before we sign off this year, I just want to quickly thank you all.
All right, so I think the fact of the matter is with this video is your health's for sale. That's basically what they're saying. Everyone's out to make a dollar. All these big companies are trying to take advantage of you. And it's pretty eye-opening to see this kind of stuff because, like, in the back of your head, you always know, right? Like, you know that they're trying to get your money from you at every turn anyways. But when you actually put it this way and they kind of, like, break it down a little more for you, it's almost super sickening to hear that they want you sick from the time you're a child to the time you're an adult. and they just want you dependent on the system because the system makes them dollars, right? And if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So to them, this is a good idea. But to me, it's just sickening to think. So hopefully it can open up some people's eyes, because it definitely has opened mine a little bit today. But all right, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this one. And I'm out of here. Bye.